Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is all about GardenFest on the show today. So Joanne Royalty is joining me. She herself is a master gardener and an associate extension agent with the Frederick County Extension Office. Kathy Doyle is joining us as well. She is one of 3 program leads for the event. GardenFest happens every year on the first Saturday in June at Belle Grove. It is one of my absolute favorite events. So I am excited, ladies, that you're coming to share all the details so other people can make it their most favorite event.
Yeah, we're excited too. It's coming up quick.
Kathy, you and I were talking before we started recording, and I asked, are you ready? And even though it's been going on for a lot of years, you still have to go through all of the steps to make sure each one is organized and successful. It's not like this event runs itself from beginning to end.
We start planning right after Garden Fest. We analyze what we've done. We ask for feedback from the area leads so that they can tell us what worked really well, what didn't work really well. So we start fine tuning. And then by October, November, we've got a plan in place. And after that, we get the area leads involved and we just keep plugging away until the first Saturday of June.
It's not as if the Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardeners are simply planning this event, but you're actually growing and separating and starting most of the plants. All the plants that are going to be in that one area around the house at Belle Grove are curated by master gardeners themselves. So you're not just showing up that morning and making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. You've got to grow these things in the meantime leading up to this event.
There's growing plants, digging them up, babysitting the plants after they get dug up, cleaning them up before they get to Garden Fest. So there is a lot involved for lots of people. And it's wonderful that people allow us to come into their gardens. Mostly it's master gardeners, but sometimes it's other people as well. So it's a community effort.
Do you have a ballpark for how many plants you guys have, flowers, trees, shrubs, all in for this event?
This year, we're cutting back a bit on some of the plants that are less desirable. Last year, we ended up with quite a few plants that we needed to carry away at the end. There are certain plants that really aren't that desirable. So we're trying to get quality plants this year that people really do want. And I think there's about, Joanne, you might have a better number than I do, but I'm thinking there's about 2,000 plants.
That's what I was going to say. It's a little over 2,000.
Last year we had 4,000 and it felt like we had to take 1,000 away. Like that bad, but it was.
Yeah, some of them are still in my garden.
It is such a wide variety from hostas, which is what we always come for because you can never have too many hostas unless you're Joanne and have deer that want to eat them out of her yard.
Don't come for the hostas this year. We were specifically told no hostas because of the deer.
Can you give me just a quick rundown, maybe highlight a few?
We try to do some native plants, but also there are some native plant nurseries that are coming. So we don't want to take too much business away from them. They'll be among the vendors. We got trees from the forestry department and we potted those up. Those potting parties are fun, getting everybody together to do that. We're not going to have plants that will already have bloomed because they don't look like anything by June. So we won't be having, I'm telling you what we're not having. We won't be having like iris or spring ephemerals, bluebells, things like that, but more like the common plants that you would want to have in your garden that will bloom through the summer.
I get coneflowers every year. You always have a fairly good selection of coneflowers in even a variety of colors. They're not always just the same color, but they're great to bring home, plop right in the ground. And like you said, by mid to late June, I got blooms and I have bees and I have all of the things because they're fantastic summer flowers.
And the other one that I know is going to be there, because I know there were a couple of potting parties where they got lots of them, is the bee balm, the Monarda. That's wonderful. The colors are great. And it's one of those plants where you need to be careful because once you put it in, you're going to have it for a lifetime. I personally love that. It grows more and more, but it's nice because year after year you can thin it out, give it to your friends, do potting parties with it. But It's such a great staple for pollinators.
Kathy, you guys have a list though on your website of the plants
Yeah.
that will be available. So people can go there and scroll through that list and maybe make their shopping list ahead of time of ones that they know you're going to have that they know they want to bring home and put in their garden.
Thank you for bringing that up, Janet, because that's exactly what we want people to do is to have a list of what they're looking for. Joanne, can you give us the website?
nsvmga.org, and you'll see the Garden Fest flyer there, but you'll also see the vendors that are going to be there. You'll see everything. The thing that I know we have to mention is no wagons. I know a lot of people always expect us to bring wagons, to have wagons there, but it just got to be too much work for our volunteers. And we want our volunteers to be focusing on the plants and the education, not on doing muscle exercises. So if you're like Janet and you know you're going to get a lot of plants, bring your own wagon or bring your own folks who are going to carry the pots or bags, whatever.
I have my own cart. I use it at Blandy. I use it at Luckett's, although I missed Luckett's and their spring market this year because of the basement flood. But I also then bring it with me to GardenFest and I can roll it around. So it can be a wagon. It could even be an old child stroller, whatever
Right.
you could use that has wheels that makes it easy to roll around that you can put things in. You can use almost anything.
That's true.
And then you mentioned, Kathy, vendors. There are a lot of vendors that some are selling plants, some are selling things that they make. There is a pretty good variety of things that you can get at Garden Fest that aren't always necessarily something you bring home and put in the ground.
As far as food goes, we have a Taste of the Philippines. We have Blue Ridge Cupcake Company, the Daily Buzz Cafe, Sugar Creek Snowy Ice Cream, one of my favorites. Then we have lots of crafts. We have Gourd Crafts, Chris Anderson Artwork, Clear Sky Animal Art. We have jewelry makers, soap makers, Stitchery Studio. I think I bought 2 dresses for my grandchildren last year. Then we have some informational vendors, and they are mixed in beekeepers of the Northern Shenandoah Valley, Virginia Master Naturalists, Virginia Health Department, Virginia Department of Forestry, and they all have great information. Virginia Gourd Society, Seven Bends Nursery, which is native plants, Hill House Nursery. Yeah.
Yellow, did you say Yellow House Nursery? That's one
Hill-
of them. What I love when I look at these vendors is that so many of these vendors speak our language. They are really about concern for the environment and native plants and pollinators. So they reinforce the message that we are sharing with the community.
You offer tool sharpening. There's secondhand rose, which is a really cool thrift type of booth where you can get some really cool finds, but then you also do kids' activities. So it's not even just come get plants, it's a full day of fun things.
Yes, exactly. You can bring your old tools that have not been sharpened for a long time, and people will sharpen them for you, and you can come back later and pick them up. That secondhand rose, it's always a big part of Garden Fest. Last year and this year, they don't usually sell clothes, but they're selling t-shirts that have been made especially for this occasion. The children's activities this year, they're going to be focusing on herbs with the children, and they always have lots of activities and face painting and games. That's close to my heart because I used to do that one every year. And then we have all the background people, the cashiers, the crossing guard from the parking to the entrance. We have people who volunteer for parking, people who volunteer making signs and the setting up and taking down. There's a lot involved.
It truly does take a village. When you walk there, you walk into this beautiful space. We all know and love Belle Grove, and it's got a lot of historical significance, but it's stunning at that time of year. It's all the people who have come together to make this event. As Kathy said, it's not one person, but it's all these pieces and people that come together to do just a phenomenal job.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about those people and the master gardeners in particular, because as important to me as coming and being able to have access to all these plants is the list of questions that I bring, because I got one thing
There
that's
you
not
go.
working and I don't know where to put this thing I just got. And the amount of education and gardening experience that is at this event can be overwhelming. So, can we highlight some of that in the next segment?
Yes, for sure.
We're on the Zooms today with Joanne Royalty. She is a Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardener as well as an Associate Extension Agent based in the Frederick County office. Kathy Doyle is joining us as well. She is one of the program leads for GardenFest. Free admission, free parking happening the first Saturday in June, June 7th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Rain or shine at Belle Grove. We're going to get more details about that when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Hello everyone, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Kim. We would love to meet you at our new Winchester Cider Works tasting room on East Piccadilly Street in Old Town.
That's right, we'll be downtown with great ciders, wine, food and even beer. And the best part is, we're so excited to be part of this brand new passport program where you just need 4 stamps from Winchester area breweries and cideries to get some great free swag.
So pop by our tasting room and we'll get you a passport. You can find out more information at winchesterbrewtrail.com.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Today's show is all about GardenFest. It is the yearly event that the Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardeners do first Saturday in June at Belle Grove. Joanne Royalty is joining me. She herself is a Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardener and is an Associate Extension Agent. Kathy Doyle is with us as well. She too, of course, is a Master Gardener and is one of the program leads for the event. When we went to break, Joanne, we were talking about the extensive amount of experience that you can find at this event on almost any gardening topic on the planet. There's going to be somebody there that either already has the answer or can find that answer for you just by showing up to GardenFest.
This is the thing that excites me the most about GardenFest. Yes, of course, Belle Grove is this amazing, historical, beautiful place that everyone should see and experience. Yes, the plants that the master gardeners have lovingly raised for this sale are a big draw and really a fabulous buy. But I think the thing that sets this event apart from just going to a place where you could buy plants is the amount of expertise. All of the master gardeners are there and they love nothing but to talk about plants. They want to share everything they've learned with you, whether it's about sun plants or shade plants or what to do about those pesky spotted lanternflies or gypsy moths. They are anxious to do that. And when you go to other places to buy plants, you don't get that customized attention. You just don't. I think it's a real treasure just to go and experience the master gardeners and the wealth of knowledge that's there. And as we said before, there's going to be an info table. The Ask a Master Gardener help desk is going to be there. So if while you're shopping around for plants, you think, I need to ask them about tomatoes and what happens if my leaves turn yellow, or what's the best fertilizer to use, all of these things, they're right there. This is truly a one-stop shopping place for the best plants and the best education you could have.
I always feel guilty for the person who gets, and I'll say in air quotes that nobody can see, gets stuck with me. So we'll get there and I'll go and I'll pick something up. And there's always master gardeners there in the area where you have all of the master gardener plants. And I'll pick something up and I'll say, okay, tell me again what this is and what's it going to look like when it blooms and where should I plant it? And they give me all the details that I need. Oh, it needs to go in sun. It needs to have this much water. Here's what you should do to give it a really good, healthy start when you put it in the ground, all of those things. And then that morphs into, I got these other issues. And how much sun does full sun actually mean? And when can I dig these up and move them to a different place? They get all of the questions that I have. And you're right. They love to answer those.
That is the reason that people become master gardeners. A lot of people say, oh, I just like to dig in the dirt. Hey, we don't call it dirt. We call it soil because dirt is what's under your fingernails. But it really isn't. When you become a master gardener volunteer, it's because you want to do something important in your community. You want to change lives. You want to make things better through horticulture. They get their fix talking to you. So please, please come and talk to them.
I usually bring a list, just so you know. It's in my phone. And I'm like, oh, wait, I have one more question. Oh, wait, no, one more question. And then when I feel guilty that I have taken up too much of one person's time, I just go find another master gardener and go on with my list
There
of
you go.
questions because there are plenty of them there. Kathy, what is your favorite thing about GardenFest? I know you're kind of in the weeds, no pun intended, working the event, but what do you enjoy most about GardenFest?
Last year I had a ball. I really did. I didn't expect to because it was my first year in leading. But the thing I really loved was walking around and talking to the people that were there. And so many people had such nice things to say. As the leads, the three of us, what we want to do is to make sure everything's running smoothly and that there aren't any problems. So we go to every area throughout the day to just check in. How's it going? Do you need anything? And in the process of doing that, we run into people, and people are just, they were just so happy last year. But I have to say, because I did children's activities for such a long time, to me, that's a lot of fun too, to find things that are educational, but also engaging. A couple years ago, we had a girl that I do story time at the library, and she and her mom used to come. And this girl was getting older, and she hadn't seen her for a while, but she knew insects. She collected insects. And she and her mom set up this big display of insects, and she could answer all kinds of questions. It's just the people that come and they just make the event.
Joanne, you mentioned how affordable the master gardener grown plants are. They're $5 or $10, depending on what you're getting. And it's free admission to come. You don't have to pay to come to the event or pay to park. But this still is one of your biggest fundraisers every year because the master gardeners are a nonprofit organization.
It absolutely is. And the money gets put back into continuing these kinds of programs, horticultural education out in the community, children's programs, adult education. When we have seminars on native plants and pollinators and invasives, all of those things, we plow that money back in. So it's a great way for the community to get fabulous plants. Have you seen the size of those plants?
I
For
have.
$5, they're amazing. You cannot get a plant that size any place for that price. But it's the plants, but it's what it is putting back into the community. So the community is helping us to provide this education, to continue these programs that really do improve the well-being of so many folks. We say that being in the garden, in whatever task you're doing, is so rewarding for so many people. You can grow your own food. You can sit and enjoy the smells of the beautiful flowers. It is really bringing you back to nature, and it's a community effort. The community comes and supports us, and we support the community. It's a wonderful relationship, I think.
So, Kathy, the event happens on Saturday, June 7th. It's from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Belle Grove. It is rain or shine, free admission, free parking. But as we mentioned earlier, bring your own wagon, bring your own stroller, bring your own boxes, whatever you think you might need to transport what you buy out of there. People need to bring that with them because the wagons that you have had a couple of years ago just aren't available. It's just not feasible for you guys to physically be able to provide those anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I just want to say that parking has improved a lot. So when people have their plants and they don't want to walk a mile, they can leave their plants near the parking area and then drive up and get them and then pull out. So the parking is very much improved over what it has been. That's due to Belle Grove. They've got it down to a science.
wear comfortable shoes. That'll be my tip. Wear shoes that you can walk in the grass and walk up hills and gravel. There's all sorts of terrain that you're going to encounter when you're at Belle Grove. And Joanne, I know every year you always stress for people to leave their pets at home because there's a lot happening at this event and it's just safer for the pets if they stay at home.
I don't know any pets that like gardening, although I will say that we at our Ask a Master Gardener help desk, we do have a therapy dog there. Your pet is not going to necessarily be helping you plant that tomato plant. There's a time and a place. We want you to enjoy the plants, enjoy the day, enjoy the education you're going to be getting, and not worry about, is your dog going to be running away or fighting with another dog? It's a stressor that none of us needs. Although I love pets, I've got 4 little Pekingese monsters. So
Then I think the first year that we had our dogs, I think that was the bulk of the list of questions that I had for the master gardener is here's a list of everything that I have. What do I have to keep from the dogs? And then
yeah,
what things can I get that are dog friendly? What things should I stay away from that may have some toxicity? They got a ton of dog related plant questions that first year.
and all that's good. And we're happy to answer those kinds, but we want everyone to enjoy the day.
And you just graduated a whole new crop of master gardeners.
Yes, we just grew new master gardeners. I'm so excited. We had one of our largest classes, may have been the largest class, 25 excellent students in Warren County. They trained at the 4-H Center, so it was a nice opportunity to bring awareness about the 4-H Center that is right outside of Front Royal. And what always amazes me about the people who sign up to take these classes, I would say a majority are retired. And they've all had these interesting, fantastic careers. These are folks who are coming, who have lived amazing lives, and now we get to benefit from all their experience. We've also had a lot of younger people making time in their lives to take the class. And I will say, for those who might be considering enrolling in an Extension Master Gardener class, it's like taking a college course. We are serious about what you are learning. Yes, of course, it's fun. We try not to fail anyone, but it is a lot of work. It's a lot of reading. There's an enormous amount of hands-on, which I think really extends the experiential learning when you actually get to do. You're not just reading a book or listening to a talking head, but you're doing. A lot of our classes were helping with the plant clinics and the potting parties. And it's amazing when you're actually out there separating plants and labeling them and understanding what needs to grow where. And it makes a lot more sense than just opening up a book and saying, oh yeah, I need to do this or that. So there's a lot of hands-on. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm always amazed. Last year when we did it, I said, oh, that is the best class we've ever had. That is absolute best class. And now I have to say that again for this year. They are so engaged and people really want to learn and really want to give back. And so many of them are going to be at GardenFest. I probably should have a little sticker on them that says, newbie, come and talk to me. But they're all going to be anxious to really engage with the public. And I have to give a shout out because a lot of them have signed up for something that is not necessarily so fun, but so important. And that's the parking duties. When you have to stand out in the field and give directions on where to park, that's not necessarily as much fun as hanging out with the shade plants or the sun plants and talking to folks. But these new folks have really just volunteered so that we have all the safety in place for parking. And that's really, really important. So I always get excited about them. I have to say they're the best class yet. Hopefully
and you'll be
next
back
year's will be.
in December. You come every December and talk about the next class that then will be the next best class.
They're just people people who want to learn how to be an extension master gardener, they are special. That's the only way I can think about it. It takes a special kind of person to want to give that time and effort into making a difference.
I will put a link to nsvmga.org in the show notes page so people can go to thevalleytodaypodcast.com and find that. I'll put a specific link to the list of plants that are going to be available that people can go in and see in alphabetical order, as Kathy told me during the break, by their scientific names. So you're going to make some laymen learn some scientific names by osmosis. But the flyer is there. All of the details for everything is there. Saturday, June 7th, 8 a.m., 2 p.m., Belle Grove, rain or shine. Kathy, thank you for taking some time today to give me the details.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
And Joanne, it's always lovely to see you. I think this is the first time you've turned your camera on in forever. So I am very grateful that I got to see your face today.
I can't believe it, even in this mess, but it's okay. Because when I see you, everything will be perfect.
That's right.
Or at least orange.
That's true. That's true, too. I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today, a few minutes after noon. So meet me here then.